Hey yo, just want to address that whole little Tory Lanez situation. What's going down? Um, Shit had came up on my feed. First of all, I guess it was like a phone call. Someone was talking about it, saying that hey man, Tory Lanez just got hit. Got stabbed up or whatnot, and I guess he got stabbed like 14 times, and they said like seven in the back. He got stabbed in the back, stabbed in the back of the head, once in the face. I'm not sure, probably on the torso in the front area. Um, the details are out there on the internet. Um, Once again, this shit was crazy, right? Um, Before all this happened, I was hearing that Tory Lanez was inside. He dropped the album. If you haven't listened to his album, go tap into it. It's a solid record. It's one of his new release. It's a solid rapper. He's rapping on there. If y'all don't know Tory Lanez, he's an R&B singer. He's from Canada, and he's an R&B singer. He raps and he sings. Um, and he got sentenced to jail. Uh, I guess a situation happened with him and what's that? A Megan Stallion, and it's a third party girl, I guess. Some situation went down, and I guess what's that? Megan Thee Stallion got shot in the foot or whatnot. I guess they was out one night in California. The California Hills, whatever, probably somewhere in LA, Beverly Hills, whatever, one of them, parties and whatnot. And, and some shit happened and she got shot in the foot. So I guess they charged Tory Lanez. I'm not sure if they really did charge him, but he got sent to jail, went sent to prison. I think it's about like 10 years, right? So while he was in jail, we're just getting a little info. I'm not saying I got a source. I don't have no main source of what's going on exactly. But, just tapping into the internet streets, just strolling up and down on my Instagram. It's like word, I guess I don't know, I guess he's affiliated with some type of group in prison. I'm not sure what it is. I thought when I first heard some news that relates to that, they was saying that I guess he was down with some Crips. I'm not sure what Crips said, but he was down with some Crips. And then recently I've been hearing that I guess he was running with the Akis, the Islam brothers, the Muslims or whatnot. And I just then you listen to his new release album. I think it was released probably like last month or two. And he's he's talking, he talking that shit. He's talking some shit on there. And right? So I'm like, he must be affiliated with something. And then, if you kind of tap more into his situation and trying to get more information about what's going on with Tory Lanez, I guess, he was talking high powered up in there and stuff and like that. But, but then again, he's supposed to be affiliated with somebody up in there. So he got some protection or whatnot, I guess they say he a high profile celebrity, but he's walking the main line. I have not served any time, so I don't know how the terms go, the lingo go, but they say he was on the main line. But anyways though, man, a couple of days ago they broke the news. I guess he got stabbed up, and the phone call, that phone call thing I heard on the internet streets. I heard the phone call. I guess it was a phone call that they released on there, and dude was saying, yeah, it was the Hispanics, and it's a possibility that things gonna go up. It's gonna be a little, it's gonna be a situation about it, and And when I first heard that, you know, it was just sad. If the information was correct, it's sad to hear that it was a Hispanic person that 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 stabbed Tory up in jail, because in jail it's like it got different politics in there, and what they say is, you know blacks and others over here, and then you got the Hispanics and the whites over there, and they're not allowed to mingle with each other. They're just separate, and if the information correct that a Hispanic stabbed Tory Lanez, that could become an issue as far as in the politics and shit that's going on inside that prison, And my deep take on that, my deep thought on that is just, what I'm saying? Like, first of all, I'm hoping this is not true. And then something else came on my feed where somebody said, hey, they know somebody inside, and they said he got stabbed up by somebody the same race as Tory Lanez. Like, so I'm like, okay, cool, you know what I mean? Because like I say, I'm like, that's, you know what I mean? If it was a Hispanic, things can get a little wicked, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh man, like, that's not a good look, But then when they said, oh, the person that stabbed, Tory Lanez, the person that did that was the same race as him. So I'm like, okay, it's an inside job or whatever, they was doing what they had to do, But then more information came out. It was like, hey, it was a Hispanic dude, and I'm like, oh shit, they back on this narrative again. So, and then, they release all the, they slowly releasing some information about it. And sure enough, it's a Hispanic dude, So, like I say, man, it's I'm all about peace, love, and opportunity. I'm not with all the bullshit, you know what I'm saying? But it's just sad to hear that, like Tory Lanez, like he was, like he was doing this thing, far as in the music industry. I listen to his music, and that little situation he had with the females, that shit went bad. And I've been hearing also that I guess the bodyguard, the security detail, the bodyguard that was involved in that situation was going to speak up and really, drop some more information that what really happened that night. And they saying that could have been a cause of why Tory Lanez got hit inside the jail, because, the security guard is going to drop some more information, and they try to, I guess they like, hey, go handle this dude before this information get leaked, But once again, that's, once again, that's a narrative. That's a narrative that I heard that was on the internet, you know what I'm saying? So, but then, once again, I check my feed, and sure enough, you got a lawyer sitting there like, yeah, the bodyguard, the dude that was, doing a security detail or whatnot, is going to speak up. And then he said that Tory Lanez wasn't the person that shot old girl in the foot, somebody else. And they for to come forward and you know what I mean? Come forward and talk about it. So that's kind of crazy, Here go with this narrative like, oh, they try to handle Tory Lanez because somebody for the drops of information. That's crazy, you know what I'm saying? So once again, like, far as in people of my color, the blacks or whatnot, what I mean? We need to, first of all, we need to learn how to stick together and control our own narrative. I know there's some weak ass people out there that, what I'm saying, that, they'll take the money route, what I'm saying? They'll sell their soul for a piece of change, You know, they'll turn their back on you just to be successful. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only way up. And when they get into those spaces, you know, they'll do whatever it takes to try to maintain that fame or whatever and whatnot. You know, but come on, man, we gotta be better than that. You know, we gotta set a good example out here for the youth, for the kids out here. And when they grow up, they gotta have some standards and morals about themselves, man. The world is not all about the money. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we out here, you know what I mean, United States and shit, you know, capitalism or whatever. So people are money hungry, you know, workaholics, do whatever it takes to be successful. But you know, the world is not about that, man. It's just where you at. It seems like that. But once again, you need to control your own narrative. You need to control who you are, you know. Put yourself first, man, and have some respect for your family and have some respect for people that's around you. You understand? You know, money ain't everything, bro. I'm telling you, man, that money is the rule of all evil. You know, and some reason some folks forget about it. They get the money, they get the fame, and they just thinking they're on top of the world. That's not how. Well, if that's what's going on with you, then that's, you know, you live by the gun, you're gonna die by the gun. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, this whole narrative, this blacks and Hispanics, you know, I think our relationship needs to be improved. It needs to improve. The relationship needs to be better. You know, far as in just just respect. You know, I just think we could just start off respecting each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, you know, it's been a narrative out there. You know, black and brown, we stick together. But then, you know, some folks feel differently. You know, some folks had a bad experience. But you know, I'm just speaking up. You know, speaking my part. And like I say, you know, all relationships in all directions and in all angles, in all areas, it just need to be improved, man. This is 2025. I think as a whole, as a whole of people of a whole, as all of us, we just need to improve ourselves going forward. You know, we need to be able to read between the lines and treat each other with a lot more respect. You know, I feel like we'll probably take 3 steps forward and then we fuck around, take 10 steps back. You know, we get set all the way back and we fall behind on what we're trying to accomplish as in people, as the world, you know, as a human being. So we need to find a way to keep pushing forward and don't let these bad narratives fuck with your mind and make your own, you know, don't let these narratives make your mind up, you know. Have self-control, man. Have self-control, you know, do your homework, do your research, you know, and think about some of the things that you do, you know. But it's your boy, man. Train, holla.